John Soane's museum is one of those places where something different catches your eye every time you visit. Best known as one of the country's foremost architects, Soane was also an extraordinary collector. So much so that over his lifetime he bought 3 adjoining houses in Lincoln's Inn Fields to keep his ever-expanding collection. The house is bursting at the seams with treasures, architectural gems, sculptures, and a wonderful collection of paintings. One of his great personal highlights was a series of 8 paintings by the great British artist William Hogarth. These paintings are about to go on show at the Soane Museum for a special exhibition dedicated to Hogarth's work, and I'm here today to meet the curator of the exhibition, Joanna Tinworth. And here we are with the Rake's Progress. I love the Rake's Progress somehow.
Oh, it's one of the most well-known and one of the most popular. The Harlot's Progress was so successful for Hogarth. He made so much money from selling the engravings after the paintings. Hogarth Place and Progress takes a look, which we don't think's been done before, at the settings and locations that Hogarth placed all of his characters in. It's like the theatre pictorially.
Yes, and it was wonderful how he did that. He saw that people wanted to know about real people, people in the city.
This one here, the place is really key because it anchors Tom Rakewell, the hero or anti-hero, as a wealthy merchant. His father's just died. His father's a miser. He's been hoarding money, which you can see literally falling out of the walls there. Tom, on the other hand, is going to spend the money. He's already being measured for a suit and he's paying off his pregnant girlfriend, and you can just see her crying on the left there, holding the ring that is no longer going to go on her finger.
So he spurned his girlfriend because he suddenly inherited all this money. So we saw him getting measured for his new suit in the last one, and here he is in full splendour.
Yes, absolutely. He's moved from a sort of a city home to a much larger setting, probably in the West End of London, one of the new squares like Berkeley Square that was being built at that time.
And where does he go from here?
Wow, where does he go from here? He goes to Covent Garden.
Now that's a wonderful, vibrant scene, isn't it?
It is.
One?
I mean, you could call it truly Hogarthian. The life and the ebullience in that are brilliant. And at that time, Covent Garden was a sort of a liminal space in between the city.
Yes, of course.
And the West End.
The West End, halfway
the West
between.
End's very aristocratic. It's got all these beautiful houses in it. Yeah. The city for merchants. And this is a louche place in between.
Sort of no man's land.
Yes. Full of taverns and brothels and gambling dens, and this is where Tom has come. And here you can see the rake coming out of a sedan chair, which he was in, covered to the roof, essentially hiding, in fact, because what's happening here is he's been accosted by bailiffs. He's got into debt.
He's already overspent.
He's already overspent. So he's going to a big function at St James's Palace, but he's been stopped en route by these bailiffs who want to arrest him for debt.
And I love the way that he uses his characters in his paintings to add the shape and the sort of boisterousness, because the lines otherwise are all very sort of straight and perpendicular, the architecture. And then, in an attempt to bolster his fortunes, Tom Rakewell marries an elderly woman who's obviously very rich. But that doesn't last very long. Before long, he's gambled it all away in this gaming house. As a result of all his gambling, he ends up in the Fleet prison for debtors. And this is how he ends up in number 8.
Absolutely.
Rather sad.
I know. What a long journey. The rake's presented in front of the painting here. He's being wept over by Sarah Young, who is, as we said, still loyal, even at this point where he's actually ended up in Bedlam, the Bethlem Hospital for the Insane. The focus of the painting really is the rake in the foreground and these 2 women in the background. And it shows you how far the rake's fallen from where he was aspiring to be. So Tom's journey has taken him all around London. It's sort of, we've coined the phrase a moral geography. Yes. He's gone from the city where he had roots to the West End where he had none, and actually his actions have caused him to end up beyond the Pale and outside the city walls.
Yes, so that's what I found really interesting in the catalogue actually, the fact that it's all really mirrored in place.
Absolutely, it really is. You can uncover a whole new layer of Hogarthian satire by considering the locations and the places, and that's what we're hoping to do with the exhibition.
Hogarth's genius was in making art that appealed to everyone by telling stories about real people in his paintings. But above all, he was a great entertainer with a wonderful eye for detail, whose paintings lead us on an exciting romp through 18th century London.